Hola, amigos. Buenos dias. Good morning. This is the Bring the Noise AMA. I am Brad Evans. Going to be here for the next 30 or 40 minutes or so as we are leading up to kickoff across the pond in jolly old England with the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the woeful and terribly disappointing Denver Broncos, who could soon fire Nathaniel Hackett. There are rumors rumbling that if they don't win today in England, Hackett just could be left on the tarmac there in London. So we shall see what transpires there. But I am here to answer all of your pressing fantasy football questions. If you have any sports betting angles that you would like to share, or if you have any inquiries, hit me up via the 3 ways seen below on your screen at Facebook at Yahoo Noise, via Twitch at Big Noise 78, or on YouTube with the Fade the Noise channel. And I highly recommend, if you haven't already, subscribe to that channel, cranking out content there almost every single day of the week with the Fade 5 podcast, Fade the Noise with Funston and I on Thursdays. And of course, this AMA rebroadcast there every single Sunday morning. You can tell I'm wearing my University of Illinois Galloping Ghost Gray Fighting Illini cap because we've lost one stinking game. I feel like I'm living in the upside down. It's an impossibility that Illinois has a realistic shot of winning the Big Ten West and also representing the ILL in the Rose Bowl. And if that does happen in Pasadena, you're going to see me pantsless in that part of the country. And I apologize to everybody in advance on that. Also coming up, you got live on the line at noon Eastern. Funston and I are reunited and it feels so good. Yeah, we're going to be back together in person, in the flesh. I was hanging out with him in his hotel room last night. Yeah, let your mind wander if you want to. So Funston and I back together again with Cam Smith as well, driving the controls and trying to keep us in line, really, because we're jackasses. So tune in the show at noon Eastern on Bally Sports and Stadium. And you can stream the show absolutely free at the web address you see there on your screen, watchstadium.com/live. Again, watchstadium.com/live. We go through every single Sunday matchup with the exception of this London game because it's so stinking early. I'm out here in Detroit. That's why you see my partially made bed in the background. At the MGM Grand, been hanging out here and doing shows all week. And we got our final act, and we're going to take a bow here in the Motor City tonight, or really this afternoon, starting at noon Eastern. Again, watch live on the line if you like sports betting, and Lord knows I do. And it was a very profitable day for me in college football yesterday. Hit a 4-leg parlay. Cha-ching! I also hit a nice little 2-legger. Same game, or now it wasn't a same game. It was a cross parlay on 2 NBA player props on the late night tip last night. So things are looking up for your boy here in the end, and I'm probably going to squander all my cash today in NFL player props. And with that, let's go ahead and get to some headlines before I dive in on some of your questions and bring them in, folks. Again, via the 3 ways you see on the screen. I'll keep this up in case you're just now tuning in. If you like this broadcast too, give me a thumbs up or a heart emoji. Greatly appreciated. Definitely helps boost the profile of this program that, again, I do every single Sunday, although I'm doing it about an hour early today because of the London game. And I got an early call on set here for live on the line. But you see those 3 ways you get a hold of me right now. So keep those comments and questions flowing, would you kindly? There's a lot of news right now, and this is I gotta believe this is one of the most active trade deadlines potentially I've ever seen in NFL history. Brandon Cooks reportedly, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Texans are open to trading him here at the deadline. We'll see if he moves. The deadline this Tuesday, so a lot of spooky transitions that could happen for a number of teams, which could spring loose the opportunity for guys lower on the depth chart. But Brandon Cooks, we'll see if he winds up shipping out of Houston and heading somewhere else. Cam Akers, too, we've been waiting anxiously, well, at least some of us who actually drafted Cam Akers entirely too early in fantasy drafts, waiting to see if he changes zip codes. And if he is not dealt, Adam Schefter also reporting that he could return to the Rams this season. And other news, Micah Parsons expected to play today. Amon-Ra St. Brown, concussion or no concussion, regardless, he is going to be playing for Detroit as well. Very close to where I'm at is Ford Field. I could walk, to the stadium today, which I will not be doing because I'm going to be driving back home. But yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown going to be in uniform today for the Detroit Lions. And really, the shocking news, two of them that we've gotten. It's not Devontae Adams, who had an illness, but he is expected to play. Tyler Lockett also expected to play despite a tender hamstring. But DK Metcalf, kind of out of left field, who's expected to miss maybe multiple weeks, and this is like a Damian Harris situation. Tested out the knee, I guess, in practice late this week. And according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, he will give it a go today for the Seahawks in their somewhat colossal matchup against a one-loss New York Giants. Now, the immediate question that's prompted is, should I trust DK Metcalf in my fantasy league? I think he's going to be limited to a snap count. Could be more of a decoy today. I view more as a wide receiver 4/flex option, depending upon what league size you're in, like a 12-teamer, than a surefire wide receiver 2 that he normally is, just because of all the various unknowns. So tread cautiously with DK Metcalf today. Meanwhile, Malik Willis, going to be under center for the Tennessee Titans. And I just logged, if you follow me in my spreadsheet, which is always free and always transparent because you never put a pick behind a paywall is my philosophy, and I subscribe to it. And I have like 31, I think, bets in for the slate today. But one of the wagers I made was right here at BetMGM in Detroit on Malik Willis over 43.5 rush yards. And with Malik getting the start, you got to view him in kind of a Justin Fields, Daniel Jones vein or class, a guy that will be, somewhat unrefined as a passer. But what we do know is he chews up real estate with the legs. He got a little bit of action week 2 at Buffalo, and he only played 17 snaps. And in that game, he had 4 carries for 16 yards, 4 carries on 17 snaps. So, you kind of stretch that out over a full 4 quarters of action. He may run the ball 15 times today, folks. And the thing about Malik Willis is, coming out of Liberty, and I watched him in college and I saw some of his tape extensively. God, the guy's got legs for days, and he is not afraid to use them. And I think you're going to see that front and center in this matchup today for the Tennessee Titans going against Houston, who's given up over 5 yards per carry. And that's to the running back position, but essentially, Malik's going to be that in that situation. And, Justin Fields ran for 47 yards against him. I think Willis is going to one-up him. I think Willis could go for 50 plus on the ground today with like about $150 to $170 through the air. Hopefully gets a touchdown, whether with the arm, with the legs. But I have ranked him for fantasy purposes at quarterback 12 this week because of that duality. That's going to be showcased without a doubt in my mind. And then the other injury news here, just to pass along, David Njoku officially ruled out for the Cleveland Browns in their Monday night matchup, the battle for Ohio, with the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, I'm going to answer some of your questions right now. If you got any player props that you want to pick my brain on, or some bets that you're featuring on your card, love to hear it, and I'll give my 2 cents on it. Just real quick, I don't have this as a lower third, but I'll just verbalize it. Some of my favorite wagers outside the Malik Willis over 43.5 rush yards. I love Tony Pollard. I took the over on that rush yards. I got it at 73.5. I think it's up to like 77.5 at some books. I played up to 79.5. He is a top 5 fantasy running back today without any question in my mind. Must start material. Yeah, the Miami Dolphins have given up, considerably less yards. He's not even facing Miami. He's facing my Chicago Bears. The Bears have given up a ton of yards on the ground and well north of 4 yards per carry. And you look at Tony Pollard, he is a guy that is number one in the NFL in yards at the contact per attempt. So he has been absolutely phenomenal this season when given the ball in his hands. I kind of like the over two on longest rush for him, which I believe is at 17 and a half, if I'm not mistaken, at BetMGM. So, a lot of juice, a lot of spring in the step, and a ton of burst. And I think he's going to be sprinting to at least 80 yards in this matchup for the Dallas Cowboys today against my Chicago Bears. A couple others that I like. I took a little OGP or same game parlay on Dameon Pierce, 55 plus rush yards, and Derrick Henry, Seal, Smashel, the football Frankenstein, and which is only appropriate here in the Halloween season, 80 plus rush yards on that two-legger, and I got it at plus money. Now, you can put that together right now. It could be like minus 105, minus 110. I would still play it. The juice isn't nearly as friendly as it was earlier this week. Now, you look at Pierce, he's been over 55 rush yards in 5 straight games. He's number 7 in yards after contact per attempt. He's forced a missed tackle an absurd 35.8% of the time. You go up against Tennessee, giving up 4.56 yards per carry to RBs. He'll have the workload. He should be able to get there. Then Henry's just been balling. He has been a steamroller, to say the least, here. Over in 5 of his last 6 on this 80 yards mark. Strong yak per attempt numbers. And again, Houston giving up 5+ yards per carry. And that RPO with Malik Willis is going to be in full effect today. So that honestly, I think only benefits Derrick Henry in this game. So I love that little two-legger. Slap that together. And then if you like the anytime touchdown props, and Funson and I are going to be talking about this in unison together on Live on the Line again at noon Eastern on Bally Sports 10s, also at Stadium and on the Yes Network. I really like Ramondre Stevenson to score a touchdown. And at BetMGM, it's plus money. It's even money right now, plus 100 to do so. I mean, the guy has had a boatload, a ton of opportunities inside the red zone, 17 as a matter of fact, and 4 at the goal line. He's taking on the Jets, who perform well, but they have given him 6 touchdowns, 5 of the rushing variety to the running back position. So Ramondre, I know it's like 62.5 of the rush yards prop. I'm not playing that, but if I had a lean for him to score a touchdown, I think he, crosses chalk and gets one in the Big Apple or Jersey, technically, today. All right, let's go ahead and answer your questions. Again, 3 different ways to get a hold of me right now. Submit them at Facebook at Yahoo Noise, Twitch at Big Noise 78, or hopefully you're already a subscriber to the Fade the Noise channel on YouTube. Let's go ahead and get after it and talk to the 2.02 average viewer, surely, of this broadcast. Let's go to Jimmy first. Greg Dulcich or Ingram at full point PPR. I think you're going to have similar results. I truthfully put together a 1-game parlay of 25 plus yards on both of these guys at plus money right now at BetMGM. I think they're going to have near identical numbers today, something around, 4 or 5 receptions, 30 to 35 yards here in the end. So flip a coin. Do you trust Russell a little bit more or Trevor Lawrence? If I had my druthers, I would probably go with Evan Ingram, slight advantage over Greg Dulcich. But again, it's a coin flip in my estimation. Matt says, hola, amigo, hola. I have 2 for you and a non-PPR for both Devontae Smith or DJ Moore. I love DJ Moore today. And if you follow the props market, and you should as a fantasy player, even if you're in a market where sports betting is illegal still and not allowed, I would be looking at, BetMGM routinely to just see what the player props are, because it helps you make lineup decisions. There's a reason why, some of these sportsbook companies make millions of dollars a year, because they know what the hell they're doing with their advanced mathematics and equations and algorithms and all that stuff. DJ Moore's player prop has skyrocketed. It opened at 53.5 earlier this week. And I always say, try to get in early on player props that you think are valuable. It's already on the low 60s. So the line has shifted considerably. That's some of the public money coming in that's altered that, but the line was too soft to begin with. DJ Moore is going to see a lot of leverage. The Atlanta Falcons, who's 137.7 passer rating and 76.7 catch percentage. So DJ Moore for me. And then Schultz or Higbee, it's never Schultz. Schultz just isn't healthy, and it seems like he is the odd man out in this Dallas offense. Kanan says Sutton, Gabe Davis, Pickens, Brian Robinson, Christian Kirk. Who goes to the bench? If I had my choices on the Christian Kirk, because I think this is going to be a low scoring affair. A lot of these London games typically are. And on top of that, too, you got Patrick Surtain you got to deal with. And, I think Surtain may operate as a shadow coverer of Christian Kirk. And that is an ominous sign if that is indeed the case. Patrick Surtain, one of the best DBs in the NFL. And I think he could be white on rice in this situation. So Christian Kirk, to me, ride the pine. I'd rather with Robinson. I'd still play Pickens despite the unfavorable matchup on paper against Philadelphia. Pittsburgh could have a lot of garbage time. It could commence like in the second quarter. Gabe Davis and the Buffalo Bills are going to absolutely tattoo Green Bay tonight. I don't understand why the line has shifted down. I would play that whether you got a 10.5, 11.5, I'll play it up to like 13.5. I think the Bills are going to win by at least a couple of scores. And then Sutton should, with Russell Wilson back, should be the leader in targets for the Denver Broncos this morning. Tommy says, hola to you, Tommy. Jimmy says, also have Ertz in my tight end slot. So my question from my flex spot is Pat Fryer, Muth, Curtis Samuel, Brian Robinson. Give me the guaranteed touches and Brian Robinson in his matchup against the Indianapolis Colts. Indy in their last 5 games have given up 5.03 yards per carry at 113.3 rush yards per game, just the running back position. So the Colts, we thought were going to be stout and stingy and unrelenting in the trenches earlier this season. That has certainly not been the case. I mean, just look at the 2 Jacksonville Jaguars matchups. Jags bared their claws and ran all over them. Rob says PPR, Taysom Hill or Dallas Goedert. I'm going to go with the higher floor here as a floor ceiling question, really. And I'm going to go with Dallas Goedert. I think it's really good shot here. 4 or 5 receptions, right around anywhere between 40 to 50 yards. Maybe finds the end zone. Taysom Hill is entirely touchdown dependent just because of the usage, which is minimized given his role, though he is a fixture inside the red zone. But Vegas has been very good against the run this season. He says Thielen or Tyler Boyd in a standard league. With Jamar Chase out, it's got to be Tyler Boyd. To be against Cleveland Browns, who have been wildly inconsistent in pass coverage this season. Boyd is the slot machine. Put a quarter in it. I'm here at the Asian Grand in Detroit. I have done that multiple times, and hopefully you'll actually hit a jackpot, unlike me, just donating cash. Elsewhere, Jason says, miss you guys so much on my drive home. You must be talking about the old Fade the Noise show. But again, you get Funston and I every single Thursday for an hour at 2 p.m. Eastern. We do a StreamYard spectacular. So you can view it at your convenience right here on Twitter, whatever social media platform that you prefer. We're not on the gram, but we're on Facebook. Hell, I think I even have it linked up to my LinkedIn account. And we're on Twitch as well. So just like where this broadcast airs, you can access at 2 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday for an hour uninterrupted and with some musical drops as well, just like the old show. John says, should I drop Goodwin for Van Jefferson in a PPR? Or should I start him? Other options are Robert Woods or Rondale Moore. The highest floor out of this group in a PPR is Rondale Moore, in my opinion. You got a Minnesota defense that plays a boatload, a ton of zone, and that should benefit a very slippery underneath weapon like Rondale Moore to catch maybe 5 to 7 balls. So I would go with Rondale Moore out of that group. Goodwin, I got to see it again. I just don't trust him. I really don't. Would you drop him for Van Jefferson? I think it's a fair trade-off. It's not a substantial upgrade. Pick your preference there, but I don't think you're really upgrading substantially in any way, shape, or form. Sean says, hola, Brett, hola. Russell Wilson, Sam Ellinger, or Willis this week. I'll go Malik. I'll take my chances. I Malik, God, he was so spectacular in college. And when he plummeted in the NFL draft, and I was baffled by it, honestly. I thought he would be maybe a late first round pick. That went to Kenny Pickett, who's looked pretty good so far. But my assessment is Malik Willis is a modern day NFL quarterback with that duality. I took the over on 43.5 rush yards. I think it's going to be 50 plus on the ground. Like I said, 150 to probably 170 through the air. Touchdowns are hard to predict, but maybe he gets it done with his legs. It'll be a Justin Fields like game, I feel, for him. Russell Wilson, I don't trust him with a hamstring, although he was working out on the plane, much to the dismay of his teammates. And Sam Ehlinger is fascinating. I wrote about him in the Fantasy Flames column this week. I think you could go for like around 220 through the air. And he's got legs. Ran for over 500 yards at UT recently. So he could be good for 30 plus on the ground, but give me Malik. Rob says Giants or Jacksonville. I go the Jags. Jags defense in Jaleel England. Foreman or Eno at a half point PPR. Great question. Very similarly ranked in my estimation. I'm going to go Eno Benjamin. A little bit more pass catching appeal here. And again, Minnesota is a somewhat, flimsy defense on the ground. So, could have a decent performance today on the ground, but really through the air, I think you could do some serious damage. Could be like, 3-4 receptions for 25 plus, 30 plus, and a touchdown. So I like him. Jay Red says, Daddy need, Daddy gotta have it. Usually I do the musical drive, so I forgot a chord at home. So I didn't do it, so I have to do my best version of it. It hurts so good. Yeah, it does. It hurts so good. Come on, Jay, let me get hurt so good. He's got 25 plus rush yards, 1.5 touchdowns, and 255 plus for is that a minus 144 or a plus 144? I hope it's not minus 144 on all those. It's not the greatest juice. If it's plus odds on that, I like it tremendously. Can't go wrong with it. And this is a great way, just as a point of reference here, to attack one game or same game parlays. Lower the thresholds, do 2 or 3 legs max, get it at plus odds, and build the bankroll. There's no guarantee in gambling. I know people love to say lock of the week. They're idiots because locks do not exist. They are virtual locks. So, high confidence wagers, I like to call them. And this is certainly one of them. And this is a great way to attack a one game or same game parlay. Get it at plus money. Hopefully that's it. And it's not minus 144 on a matchup that you really like, 2 or 3 legs. And again, boost the bankroll. Jimmy says Tennessee or Colts. Give me the Colts there. Bill says, hey, Brad, Taysom Hill or Irv Smith. Oh, and a PPR, this is really close because you look at the Arizona Cardinals and man, have they been friendly to opposing tight ends this season. They're giving up 7 receptions, over 75 yards per game, handful of touchdowns as well. Taysom is so touchdown reliable. I go Irv. I maximize a matchup there. Andrew says, hola. Russell Wilson or Trevor Lawrence, cutting it close, go Bills. I go Trevor Lawrence there. Again, I worry about Russell Wilson's hamstring and, potential flare-up in game. Thumb Liquor says, full PPR set 2 out of Cook, Chubb, Damian Pierce, ETN, or rah. Man, this is an embarrassment of riches. You're just bragging with this kind of backfield. Well, Chubb is in no matter what in my estimation. And I think Damian Pierce is in as well in my lineup. I probably go Dalvin Cook and Ramondre, but you're not going to lose, man. This is what I call a lucky 7 situation. You're good with any of those guys. Lockett or Gabe Davis, again, Lockett dealing with a hamstring injury, even though he is A-okay. Give me the green light. Give me Gabe Davis. Brandon says Alex Goddard or Brian Robinson. I'm going to go Brian Robinson with a touchdown appeal. Hunt or Harris or Paris Campbell. Hunt, rumor as well to be on the trade block. Could be a showcase game for him or maybe not against Cincinnati. I go with, I'm assuming that's Najee and not Damian Harris. Paris Campbell's the odd man out. I would go with Najee Harris if that is indeed who it is. If it's the Damian variety of Harris, I go with Kareem Hunt. And I believe he just clarified it's Damian. So give me Kareem Hunt. And hopefully it will be a showcase game before he is dealt, if indeed he is sent packing out of Cleveland. Would you stay away from Pickens against Philly? No, I wouldn't. I actually bet on the over 30, I think it was 36 and a half, 38 and a half receiving yards on George Pickens, a phenomenal field stretcher, one of the leaders in total air yards at wide receiver and ADOT as well. You got to take advantage of how he's being utilized. And, Pittsburgh could be in garbage time. I know they're going to be up for, the battle of the Quaker State, bragging rights within the borders there. But for me, I'm going to go with Pickens over an injured Lockett. I just do not trust hamstring, soft tissue issues. No, thank you. Dak or Willis? I go Dak. It's close, though. Much closer than people think. Morning out of full point PPR flex, please. Deonta Foreman, Wandale, Brian Robinson, or Pickens. Go with the guaranteed volume here. It's one of the two running backs. I'm going to go with slight advantage to Foreman, who I wrote about this week in a Fantasy Flames column on BallySports.com. Those I roll out every single day during the week, Tuesday through Thursday. Then I have a props only piece on Friday. In the past, I used to have the Fantasy Flames. They're like 1,500 words to be one column. I was like, this is stupid. It's not how people consume content anymore, and they don't want to read that much. So I chopped it up. And I talk about Foreman. I think I got him pegged for 90-plus total yards and a score today. Good luck, Steve. Trent says Olave or Gabe Davis. Very close here, but I'm going to go with Chris Olave. Sean says Dolchich or Pitts. It's today the Kyle Pitts day. As how it is, he is. It's a run first, run often Atlanta team. He's been more line tied. He's really been flourishing as a run blocker. But I go Greg Dolchich. Higher touchdown appeal in my estimation. Kenneth says Gerald Everett to pick up Irv Smith or start Kyle Pitts. Yeah, you could drop Gerald Everett. I think that is a lateral move to get Irv Smith, and I would play Smith out of Pitts or all those guys. Lab J says need 2 out of mandatory Montgomery. Mr. Tyler Lockett, Paris Campbell, and Daryl Henderson in a full point PPR. Daddy want, daddy got to have it. Again, I don't have my machine hooked up because I forgot to pack a wire. Give me Monty and, Paris Campbell with Ellinger under center. Or Daryl Henderson, the guaranteed not so fantastic volume there and a tough matchup to boot. I go Campbell and Monty. Again, I do not trust the hamstring there of Tyler Lockett. Doug says Claypool, Wandale, or Judy in a standard, and standard's the killer here. Who's going to score a touchdown? If this was PPR, any form of it, automatic, I go Wandale Robinson. I took the over on 4.5 receptions for him, but this is such a run-heavy team of the Giants, and they're entirely focused, as they should be, on the legs of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. In a standard, more touchdown appeal, I think, belongs to Jerry Jeudy. So slightly in there over Wandale with a close second. Ryan says mandatory Montgomery or Deonta Foreman in a PPR. Knowing that Khalil Herbert exists, and I know Chuba Hubbard does as well, I go down to Foreman slightly over mandatory. And Geno or Daniel Jones, give me Geno. Daniel Jones entirely relying on will he run or won't he run. So I know that Geno has been cooking. He's been a top 10 quarterback in fantasy all season long. The world is ending. I'm convinced of this. So as a result, I'm going to stick with the hotter hand there in Geno Smith. Brian says Myers or Carter, and we'll see how much James Robinson plays today. Just traded for him to the New York Jets. I think he'll be on some kind of snap count. Be an RBBC, though, still of sorts. Mac Jones, will he show up? That's another great question against the Jets, who have been pretty damn good in coverage this season. I roll the dice on Michael Carter, especially in a PPR. Evan says, need 1 in a PPR, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, or Cortland Sutton. Clearly Amon-Ra, very close where I'm at Ford Field here in Detroit. Mandatory Montgomery or Deonta Foreman. Give me Deonta Foreman. Geno or take the chance with Malik Willis. I have Geno slightly, and I mean like 2 spots higher than Malik. But it's really close. And by the way, PPR doesn't matter for quarterbacks unless Malik's going to throw passes to himself, which could be possible. There you go. You're welcome, Thumb Licker. Keep following. Keep asking questions if you have any. Neil says Gallup or Van Jefferson. Give me Gallup. First game back, accumulated rust there for Van Jefferson. Fresh off injured reserve. Jimmy says last one with Lockett expected to play. Full point PPR Lockett or Curtis Samuel. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel there again. Soft tissue issues there with Lockett. Could sustain another injury, God forbid, during the game, and then he's sidelined. Kirk or Dak? It's Dak for me. Moving on. Neil says Van Jefferson or Gallup. I think I already answered that. Van, he's my man out of that group. Thumb Licker says Jahan Dotson for Harrison Bryant. Yeah, I could do that. Starting Kyle Pitts in PPR. Harrison Bryant could be a sneaky, effective tight end this week with David Njoku out. Joe says Deonta Foreman, Michael Carter, or Olave in the flex. I'm going to go with the Chris Olave factor there. Foreman's got to be pretty darn close, but Olave's got a much higher floor in my estimation. Lap J again, Wandale Lockett or Paris Campbell. Stupid standard scoring league. Yeah, it's silly. Give me Wandale. And that one, can I trust Waller today? I don't know who your backup option is, Roger. I'm trusting Waller. I got him in a couple leagues, and I'm playing him. Why? Because there's nothing else but rubbish on the waiver wire. Marco says a half point PPR Schultz, Irv Smith, or Harrison Bryant. Maximize matchup again against Arizona to give me Big Irv. Barian Barks, Armon Ra, or Lockett. Windmill slam dunk. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Michael Patrick goes Deontay Johnson or Pickens. I'm going to go with a big play appeal of George Pickens. Tua or Dak. Give me Tua. And then last question here, because I know we're about to see kickoff in Jolly Old England. Do I make any changes the rest of you are in a PPR 12-man? Carr, Walker, ETN, Evans, AJ, but good Lord. No, I don't know what your changes are. What are you asking exactly? You're just listing your team. So I need more details to figure that one out. Kenneth says Pollard, Mostert, or Deonta Foreman. It's easily Tony Pollard, who I have as RB4 this week in my running back rankings. Could go for an incredible amount of yards against my Bears defense. I know the Bears did a very good job of bottling up Ramondre Stevenson and their clobbering, inconceivable clobbering of the New England Patriots last week, but they have been susceptible on the ground the rest of the season, to say the least. Pollard has got to have himself a game. Could be 100 combined with ease and at least one touchdown. By the way, I'm Brad Evans, and if you like this broadcast and you got something out of it, give me a thumbs up or a heart emoji. You can always submit your questions. I do these every single Sunday, usually at about 10:30 or 10 o'clock Central Time, sometimes 9:30, but I'm on the road this week, and I got an early call time for a television show that I do, and that's Live on Line. Watch it. If you like the sports betting arts, we cover every single game, rapid fire style. Myself, Senior Fun Buns, Brandon Funston, Cam Smith are going to be on set. And we are going to offer our favorite wagers. Could be a side, total, player prop as well on all the Sunday matchups, excluding the London game, of course, this morning. And that is live again at noon Eastern. We're going to be right here doing it from the BetMGM Grand in Detroit. And that show airs as well Monday through Friday. And I'm on it, except for Tuesdays. I take the day off to recalibrate. That's a heavy writing day for yours truly. So tune in. I hope you check out the show. And good luck in your fantasy football matchups today. Good luck with your bets. Until next time, adios, amigos.